everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a slightly more advanced version of the basket weave stitch. I've posted another video on this stitch using a simpler version, and that's this swatch right here that I've shown in that video. And as you can see, they're very similar to look at, but there's slight differences in the actual pattern. And the simpler version, I feel like the basket weave itself is reversible, almost reversible on both sides because it looks very similar. But with this advanced version, it looks a little prettier on one side versus the other side. So there would be a sort of a right side and wrong side with this stitch. And I've provided the pattern for this one in the description field, and I've also provided a link to the simpler version if you want to check that one out first. But I would still put this at a beginner level knitting stitch, because all you need to do is know how to knit and purl and cast on and cast off stitches. So really simple. And in terms of projects, I haven't really done very many projects with this stitch, except for this little hot water bottle holder that I like to use. And when I say hot water bottles, I'm talking about those, old tiny little rubber bottles with the little cap at the top that you can put a hot water for a hot water compress. I provided this pattern in the description field. I did this with 100% cotton yarn, and it's really simple. All I've done is I've knit up a long rectangle, put holes on either end to have my little drawstring, and then I seamed up the edges. So I haven't done a video specifically for this project. If you want one, let me know in the comments, and I can look to do one. But it's really simple. I'll provide all the links for knowing how to do this top, the knit two togethers and things like that in the description field. And yeah, so you can see here I did this with a variegated yarn, so you can't quite see the baskets weave as well, and I realized that. So I think it might look better if you do it in a solid color rather than in a variegated color. The pattern is knit on a multiple of 10 stitches. So I have cast on here about 17 stitches, and I'm going to cast on 3 more. And I'm just using the long tail cast on. You can use any cast on of your choice, and you don't need double pointed needles. Just using those for this demo since they're short. And the very first row is just a knit across the way. So the pattern itself is a 12 row repeat, and don't let that intimidate you. It's 12 rows, but a lot of the rows are just repetitious, or they're the same rows. So we're going to be knitting 6 rows in one way, or 6 rows will make up one block of those of the basket weave, and then the other 6 rows will make the other block, the next block of the weave, and that's it. You're just going to keep repeating those 12 rows over and over for the pattern. So the very first row is just knit all the way across. So I'm going to go ahead and just finish up to the end here. And next row, we're going to do the pattern repeat, and it's going to be knitting 6 and purling 4. So we're going to knit the first 6 stitches, just a regular knit. And then purl 4. So you can bring the yarn to the front, right? Since you're going to be purling, and purl 4. Now, when you do this, when you purl that first stitch, you want to take the yarn a little bit to the back and give it a tug, and then purl the next stitch. And the reason for that is, if you don't do that, there ends up being a lot of slack when you switch from the knit to the purl. And so this is a trick to kind of decrease that slack, okay? You only have to do it every time you switch from a knit to a purl, and just for that first stitch. So knit 6, purl 4, and that's the repeat for the whole row. Now, since I only have one more repeat, let's see that one more time. I'm going to knit 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to bring the yarn to the front to do my purl. I'm going to purl that first stitch. I'm just going to take the yarn to the back, tug on it a little bit just to tighten it, and then purl the remaining 3 stitches. And that's it. You're going to keep doing that to the end of the row. That's the end of row 2. We turn our work. Row 3, we're doing the opposite, or not opposite. We're now going to knit 4 and purl 6, okay? And so you can see that these first 4 stitches at the end we had purled, right? So now we're going to knit 4. So let's knit the first 4 stitches. And then we'll bring the yarn to the front, and we're going to purl. And you can see the slack with this yarn especially, there always tends to be a lot of slack. So I'm going to knit the first stitch, really tug on it, bring the yarn to the front, and then knit the next stitch. or rather purl the next stitch as well. So knit 4, purl 6. So we've purled 2. Let's purl 4 more, and that's our purl 6. And that's it. That's your pattern repeat for the whole row. So I'm going to take the yarn to the back and do knit 4, and then purl 6. All right, so that was the end of row 3. I'm going to turn my work, and now row 4 is the same as row 2, so which was knit 6, purl 4. So again, we're going to do our knit 6, purl 4, and we'll speed up through this a little bit. Okay, so that's the end of row 4, which was the same as row 2. Turn our work to row 5. Row 5 is the same as row 3. So we're going to knit 4, purl 6. And we'll speed up through this one as well. So that's the end of row 5. And now row 6, it's going to be the same as row 2. So knit 6, purl 4. Row 7 is just a knit all the way to the end, so just a regular knit. So this row, the first row and the 7th row are identical. They're just knit all the way across, and they almost serve like little demarcations or little divisions between each of those, the rows of the basket weave, each of those sections of the basket weave. Now we're going to do the opposite for these so that we can actually get the weave pattern. So row 8, we're going to do purl 4 and then knit 6. So purl the first 4 stitches. And then knit. So bring the yarn to the back, right? Because we're going to knit the next 6 stitches. And that's it. That's your pattern repeat for the whole row. Purl 4, knit 6. So let's go ahead and purl 4. Now remember, I switched from a knit to a purl. So I'm going to do that little thing of tugging the yarn and making sure that we decrease that slack. And then knit 6. And in my case, I only have to do the repeat once since I only cast on 20 stitches for this sample. Row 9, we're going to do purl 6, knit 4. So purl for 6 stitches, just a regular purl. And then knit 4 stitches. And that's your pattern repeat for the whole row. So we purl 4, or rather purl 6, knit 4. That was the end of row 9. Row 10, same as row 8, which means purl 4 and knit 6. So we'll speed up through that part. And now row 11, same as row 9. So we're going to purl 6 and knit 4. And we'll speed up through this part as well. Row 12 is going to be the same as row 8. So we're going to purl 4 and knit 6. So that's the repeat for that whole row 12, purl 4 and knit 6. So that's it, 12 rows. You'll do those 12 rows and then you'll just keep repeating those 12 rows. So you'll start again with row 1, which is knit all the way across, and then row 2, row 3, all the way to 12, and just keep repeating that. And your work will start to look like this or like this. this swatch here. So if you want to knit a project with this, I think this stitch works really great for, really can work for any project. Actually, a blanket, I think, is a perfect project for this one. Now, I hope you give this one a try. If you like the video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and click on the bell so that you get notified every time I post a new video. If you have questions, comments, suggestions for videos, leave them in the comments field for me. Thank you again for watching my videos, for being engaged, and for supporting my channel. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day wherever you are, and happy knitting.